Good morning. I'm going live a minute early just to make sure everything is working and operating as it should. So I'll just give it a few minutes. We'll probably give it 2 or 3 minutes at least until a few people get here. So if you want to go refill your coffee or grab some water or a comfy sweater, feel free. You're not going to miss anything. I'm not going to officially start yet. Hi, Marcel. Feel free to introduce yourself, guys, in the chat. Also, um, any questions that you have, I do have quite a few things that I want to get through today. Again, I have my clipboard. I'm going to get through all my tips and definitely prepare any questions that you have. And as long as we stay within this like 35-minute mark, I know last week I went about 15 minutes over. But I will try to get to questions towards the end of this. And if you guys are interested, we can always do a Q&A just about anything and everything dating on another Saturday morning. We're doing this couple more. This is our second live out of a series of 4. And I think after this, I'm not going to be doing any more online dating. But you can always go back and watch the videos. And yeah, but if you guys have any suggestions, we don't have our topics yet for next week or the week after. So totally open and really want to talk about stuff that you guys really want to learn about or just get a second opinion on or hear about, what other people are going through in the dating space. So just let me know what you want to hear about and we can cover those topics next week. And okay, so we'll just give it maybe another minute and I will jump right in. But just to get started quickly, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Kavita Ajwani. I'm the owner of Dashing Date. Our company is just over 8 years old, which is crazy. And I'm a dating expert and strategist. I'm also a matchmaker. And I basically just breathe dating day in and day out. And hey, Brad. Hi, Gilbert. Um, and that's what I do, and it's what I do best. And anything that I say or tips that I share, it's really with your best interest at heart. It's really based on what I know has worked for my clients in the past. And it's always about, dating with integrity, being kind, being yourself. It's not about gimmicks, and I'm going to cover some of that stuff today. So alrighty, let's jump in. So today we're talking about online dating strategy. Last week we talked about online dating profiles, and profiles are really the base of online dating. You need to get your profile in tip-top shape. I'm not going to go into much detail about that today because we covered a lot of that last week. The video is still on our Facebook page, so you can absolutely watch that. Today is about strategy, like how to get better matches. And I want you to know it's not about getting more matches necessarily. It's about getting better quality matches. And what's really important to me when it comes to dating, be it online or otherwise, is that you're enjoying dating. So anything that I share is going to really be aimed at you making the most of your dating experiences where you are really happy about dating and you feel good about dating. Like that is the most important part. So, okay, so the first thing that I wanted to touch on, and I was going into this, as we were sharing that we were going to be doing this live, and it was about winning the dating game. And I know that some people, they hear words like that and they're just like, oh, it's not a game. I don't want to play games anymore. And what I want to say first thing and foremost is, unfortunately, when it comes to online dating, there are limitations. Your personality can only shine through so much. And that's why your profile is really, really important, because your profile really should be doing the talking for you. You shouldn't have to work so hard in other areas of online dating, because your profile is really like the hub. That's where people are going to get to know you. So again, that needs to be tip top. Watch the other video. I may come back and share a few more specific tips for dating profiles, but we'll come back to that. The reason I say that it's a game is because the way I see a game is that a game has different stages. A game is about getting through certain stages, and it's about leveling up. And that's what you need to be doing when you're online dating. You're not supposed to just be there to be there and try like random things without any sort of strategy or goal, and then just like get off and then go back on the next day. It's about leveling up. It's about getting better. It's about finding a match, getting to that next step about communicating with that match, and then it's about moving off the dating app. So there are stages, and you can look at it like a game. And when I say like a game, it means you can actually have fun with it, because when you start to think about things and you gamify them a little bit, you can start to get a little bit more creative with your approach. You know, just like in a game, there's a few ways to get through a level. And this allows you, when something's not working, it allows you to think like, okay, this isn't working for me. This approach isn't working. I've tried this 3 times. She's not answering me. I'm not, attracting serious guys. Let me tweak something. Let me try something else. How do I gamify this a little bit? Set goals for yourself. Okay, my goal today, your challenge today, the stage that you need to pass today is to choose 3 matches or get 3 matches. How do you make that happen? So that's just the way I kind of want you to be thinking about this right off the bat, is thinking about it in stages, thinking about having fun with it, and yeah, just, gamifying it a little bit and getting creative. So I'm going to run through my tips here. So I'm going to run through my tips here. We'll get through everything within the next about 30 minutes or so. Another thing that I really want you guys to think about and remember is that you can't blame the app for not bringing you the results that you want. You really need to get these results for yourself. The apps work. The apps are there. We all know people that have met on dating apps. Sorry. We all know people that have met on dating apps. Everybody is there. Lots of people are there. So you really need to stop blaming the app and blaming online dating as a whole, and really see it as a tool. It is a tool that you can use, and you can get better at using this tool. And the minute you start to see it that way, your mindset and the way you view online dating and your approach should also change. Okay, tip number 1, set yourself up to win. So what does that really mean? So first and foremost, the way you will win is with an excellent dating profile. So that's the last time I'm going to say that today, but just know that, because what's the point of investing time and energy even if you're doing really well at the messages, even if you're bringing the right energy to the table, what's the point if you're not going to get the results that you want because your profile is just not where it needs to be? So that is number 1. Number 2, set yourself up to win, is to bring the right energy to the table when you're online dating. Something I always say is your energy introduces you before you even speak. And this is true, be it in person when you're dating or be it online dating. If you are going into your online dating space, onto your app, when you're just not feeling it, when you're in a bad mood, when you're tired, out of complete boredom, that energy is going to be received on the other side. So you really want to check your energy levels. You really want to bring an optimistic mindset to whenever you are online dating. Be your best self when you're online dating. You want to bring like this happy, positive attitude. When you're in a really great mindset and you're in the mood to do it, that is also going to show. So a lot of it is about mindset, and a lot of it is about energy. And that's something that you have 100% control over. Before you even open the app, just ask yourself, like, am I am I doing this for the right reason right now? Am I doing this because I want to be intentional about dating? Which brings me to my third point under setting yourself up to win. And the most important point is dating with intention. So think about some of the things that we do unintentionally, mindlessly. So, we'll scroll through Instagram or Facebook, maybe scroll through like different things to watch on Netflix. Like, think about when we're doing something without intention and when we're doing something kind of mindlessly, we're not really giving whatever that thing is the respect that it deserves. And something like scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or Netflix, that stuff doesn't matter. But your dating life matters. Your approach to dating matters. The way you treat and see dating really matters. So you should be intentional about it. Think about, I'm a little tired today, so I will be drinking my coffee. But think about when you treat something um, when you treat something with the importance that it deserves, think about the way you go into that. For example, I say this a lot of my clients are professionals. When you are going to work on a presentation, right, you really set the time aside to work on that presentation. You go into it with the right mindset. You're not going into it when you're dead exhausted. You're going into working on your assignment. You're going into working on your presentation with the right mindset, with a strategy in plan, with a goal in plan, with a specific amount of time likely dedicated to working on that for the evening. It's very important that you apply the same kind of working with goals in place, setting parameters that you can win within. Because working on a presentation, sitting there for 5 hours, you're probably not going to get that far. Maybe 2 hours of really intentional, focused time. Um, you're going to get somewhere. And I want you to think about online dating the exact same way. How can you apply this same approach to online dating? So you don't want to be clicking on your app throughout the day mindlessly, scrolling without really thinking about it. Set time frames that you actually want to dedicate to your dating life. This is super, super important. It's really setting the foundation about how you think about online dating and how you treat your time when you're online dating. So, I kind of covered this tip, but I'm going to go into it in a little bit more detail. So, how are you going to decide? This is something I really want you to do like today. If you're online dating right now or you're thinking about online dating again, I really want you to do this before you start, is decide when you are going to date. And this can change on a week to week basis. This can change based on how much other stuff that you have going on. Maybe one week you really don't have much going on. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go hard. I'm in the right frame of mind. I'm going to spend 2-3 hours a day on my online dating apps, but then do it with purpose. So some examples that I've worked with clients is I have some clients that will say, okay, you know what? I have this extra free time in the evening. I'm going to do an hour every single night, and I'm just going to set, 7 to 8 p.m. or 8 to 9 p.m., whatever it is, and that's going to be my online dating time. I have other clients that are, for example, busy parents. So they have to really plan this around their already very busy schedules. So you might say, okay, I'm going to do Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings. But really setting that time means that you are going to really appreciate the time that you have. You're going to give it the attention it deserves. You're going to be more mindful about your approach. So this is a super, super important tip. And if you haven't experimented with this yet, I really want you to just stop doing it out of boredom, stop doing it all day long, and really set specific times to actually date online. Um, one thing to remember when you're doing this is obviously people do lose interest quickly. People, you match, they want a response fast usually. So just keep that in mind when you're planning out your schedule. I wouldn't suggest maybe Monday nights and then again on Saturday because there's a big gap in between. And one last tip in this area is what you might also want to do is you want to alternate between what you're doing when you're scheduling time to date online. So, for example, on Thursday nights, it might be just about swiping and scrolling through profiles. You're really going to get into that headspace of analyzing and looking and reading through profiles and reading through profiles. I emphasize that because it's not just about photos. Remember that it's about reading profiles. And I think, again, if you approach online dating this way, you're going to start to be more intentional about how you're spending your time when you're even when you're on the app. So I would alternate between scrolling through profiles and selecting matches. And then on the next day or your next online dating session, then you would focus on conversations. And just like anything else, multitasking really doesn't work. You don't want to be scrolling, trying to chat, scrolling, trying to chat. I think you will really benefit from focusing on one thing at a time. You guys have seen this with your work stuff. You know that when you're diving deep into administrative stuff, you're in it and you're there and you're winning it. Then when you're diving deep into the analytical stuff, you're doing it, you're researching. So batch your tasks the same way you do with work. Batch your tasks with the same tasks that you would do with online dating, which is usually swiping, selecting profiles that are best suited for you, and actually having conversations. Okay. Next. Yes. Okay. So I know this is the question that comes up all the time. It's a huge one for guys. Fortunately, with apps like Bumble, for example, women do have to start the conversation. And I think that is, let me start over. Messaging, okay? Approaching people. So now you've matched and you want to send them a message. This is such a huge, huge problem. It is a huge topic. Everybody is wondering how and why and what should I say, and it's not working for me, and people ghost me and they don't respond. I get it. It is frustrating. Um, it is frustrating. So the thing is that if I gave you one, every one fits all kind of approach, it would be gimmicky and it wouldn't work for everybody. And even when it does work, it would be short lived. It would eventually go out of style and you would have to keep reinventing it and finding, the newest pickup line to use. I don't want to give you those tips. If you want gimmicky, cheesy kind of pickup lines, sometimes they work great, but Google is great for that. I found one that my client was using the other day. He's like, what a lovely quarantine we're having today. And it's cute. I actually think it's cute and funny. I mean, I would add to that. But it can work. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for you to develop an actual approach to messaging somebody and communicating with somebody and conversing with somebody that's going to work long term. And that's about really getting your style together. Like, you have to be yourself. You have to be yourself, because if you're going to use what somebody kind of teaches you to use, again, it's only going to take you so far, because it's just not going to match your personality. And if you're going to have this, 2 or 3 witty, charming lines, and you're not able to actually keep it up, and it's not who you really are, that conversation is going to dwindle very, very quickly. So you absolutely need to invest the time into finding an approach and a way of communicating that really works specifically for you. I'm just going to quickly shift for 2 seconds. So, Bumble, when you match, the woman has to message, and I think that is so key, because guys find it hard to message. Girls don't answer all the time. Like, you match and then you don't respond. Again, I'm gonna just divert our attention for a little bit. If you're gonna match with someone, go into it with the intention to speak to them. Stop matching just for the sake of matching. Select your matches because you want to talk to this person. All the people you match with, like that, you want to talk about gamifying it, or I want to talk about gamifying it. One of the things you should be doing is only match with people that you want to have a conversation with. And this is especially important for you girls and women. Stop ghosting guys before you've even spoken to them. Um, don't want to go on a whole rant against my own kind, but what I will say is that I think women in general should, even whether you're on Bumble or not, I think women should not just sit back and just because you matched, expect the guy to be the one to message. At that point, once you've matched, it is fair game at this point. I understand the traditional approach. I get that you want the guy to make the first move, and if he's really interested, he'll reach out. The point is, one of you should be reaching out soon, fast, within a short time frame after you've matched. Somebody should reach out. Okay, so my best tip for how to message somebody is to be genuinely curious. This is such a simple thing to do, is to just be curious about the other person. So look through their profile and genuinely ask yourself, what do I want to know about this person? What about this profile has sparked my interest? And dive deeper into that. So curiosity when it comes to online dating is going to be your best friend. You want to keep things short and sweet. Do not send people these long messages. You don't need to work that hard. You just need to be kind. You need to be curious. You can compliment the person. Say something personal about their profile for sure. And if there's something in their profile that you yourself identify with, if they have a travel photo of somewhere that you've been, if they have a picture with their dog and you also have a dog, anything that you can find that you two have in common is also a great starting point for a conversation. Like, hey, I noticed this in your profile. I happened to have visited, Peru last year. Where did you go? Where did you stay? How, did you enjoy your trip? Asking a question, which ties exactly into curiosity, asking a question is super great, because people, for some reason, there's something about getting a question about yourself. You can't be too nosy, of course. Like, have a polite, respectful question that pertains to their actual profile. And there's something about a well-crafted question that people just feel compelled to answer. We want to answer. And that's really your number one goal. That is the first stage, is to get that conversation going. So that first message is very important. And then again, be very mindful about how you approach the next question. Go into it with curiosity. You don't need to do all the talking. In fact, that's kind of like a shortcut for you. That's a little bit of a hack for you, is you don't need to think about saying all kinds of things. In one of our last lives that we did, I was with Bea Voce. I think some of you guys were there to watch it. She shared this tip that I thought was so clever. She said it was a negotiation tip where it's very easy to have a conversation with someone by repeating like the last part of the sentence that they said. So if someone's like, oh yeah, you know what, I just finished working all day, you could be like, working all day, question mark. And it just kind of keeps the conversation going without you doing any work. Now, I'm not suggesting that you keep doing this. Obviously, if you just keep doing that, it's going to be very noticeable very soon. But my point that I'm trying to make is you can keep a conversation going fairly easily with doing minimal work. And I'm really going to suggest that you use that approach, especially for men. Is that let women talk about themselves, show that you're interested, share a compliment the person who doesn't want to receive a compliment. Just be genuine about it. So, you could rewatch this video, but I'm going to run through those tips one more time. Number one, curiosity. Be more curious than anything else. Number two, ask a question. Number three, compliment the person. And number four, say something personal about their profile, in no way should it appear that you have sent this exact same message to 100 other people. And the other thing, the last tip I'm going to give you that I didn't actually share is to stay current. So last week I shared a number of reasons why it's so important that your profile needs to be updated regularly. In your conversation as well, speak about things that are current, things that are happening today. That's why that cute line about my what a lovely quarantine we're having. Um, the reason these things are gimmicky and it's because they're short-lived. So say things that are current today and then pair that with something personal and the other things that I just went over. So those are my best tips for finding your approach. You're really going to have to work on this. Again, it's about practicing. And once you find your groove, once you know how to work it, then you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Then kind of like you've set the foundation, and then you can use that approach as a base for anybody that you message online, and then you just tweak accordingly based on who you're talking to. But it's really important that you figure this out and that you experiment with it and that you do put the time in, put the work in. Use these profiles again. Use these apps as a tool. These apps they're giving you the landscape to practice and get so much better. They're giving you the landscape to master this, in fact. So use that to your advantage. Again, gamify this process. Take a profile, look at it, and be like, okay, what is the best way to message someone based on this specific profile? Then try the next one. Try to pick out from their profile what they're probably most passionate about. If they have 2 or 3 pictures of their dog, yes, go in for the dog. Ask about the dog. That is what is going to make them happy. If they're clearly passionate about their work or whatever they're really emphasizing in their profile, use that. You don't have to do tons of research. The answers are right there in front of you. Use it. Work with what you have. Work with what somebody is giving you to work with. You don't need to go completely off trail and figure something out that has nothing to do with them, that is not relevant to this specific interaction. Okay, all good? Are we on a good path? Make sure to, okay, there are questions coming in. Cool. So make sure to message make sure to put your questions in because we're actually coming up to 35 minutes. But yeah, get your questions in because I will try to answer a few of them before I finish up. And what else? Okay, yes. So the last tip, is this my last tip? Yeah, my last tip is most important is, guys, take your conversations out of the app as soon as you can. And when I say as soon as you can, like, I'm trusting you guys to use your best judgment. I'm trusting you guys to make the right choice here. It's not about, 3 exchanges and, hey, like, can I call you? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, and this is one of my favorite lines, I came up with it myself years ago, and I stand by it. I still say it all the time, and this is what it is. Apps are great. They are great at facilitating introductions, but they are also responsible for ending relationships before they have the chance to begin. You are not meant to build a relationship inside your app. You are not meant to build a relationship via text message either. So when the world was normal and we were allowed to meet people in person, my tip was always, Kate, get a conversation going, get a rapport going, there should be mutual chemistry, mutual interest, and then meet in person. Now we're in a phase where it's much easier. You're going to save a lot of time because you actually can't meet in person. So people have gotten on board with the fact that you can video call and maybe even get on the phone. So that your main responsibility, the point of the game is to get off the app. That is the goal. Just like any game, you need to finish. Okay, you're not meant to stay on the app. You have the stages. You want to get through these stages, and then you want to get off. You want to move into the next phase. You want to move to the next level, which is not on the app. So you need to get off the app. Um, uh, 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 uh. So yeah, so that is just really really important. Um, you don't want to be aggressive about it. You want to really be like kind. You want to show interest, express interest when it's the right time. But that's again when you're gamifying this, that's what you want to be paying attention to. Pay attention to your conversation and think about when is the best time to move this out. And to be honest, many times there are only you have a small window before the conversation starts to go like this. So when you're really in that zone and when the conversation is kind of like going back and forth like a ping pong session, and the conversation is good and you're getting there, that's where you want, that's like your high note. That's where you want to move off the app. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm really enjoying this conversation. I'm about to hop into a conference call. I'm about to, hop into a virtual workout session. Whatever you guys are up to these days, make that sound appealing. Um, even that is part of the conversation and moving it offline. Be interesting. Be like, you know what? I really loving this conversation. I'm about to go do XYZ, whatever this really cool, interesting thing is that you're about to do. Be like, I don't spend too much time on dating apps. That's also a selling point. But I would love to continue this conversation. If you're comfortable giving me your number, I would love to like send you a text message. If not, here's my number, and shoot me a text if you'd like. Something like that, but you need to move off. You need to move off the app. So those are my tips for you today. I'm just going to leave you with a couple of final thoughts. Is that you need to have fun with it. So some of the things I covered today about like bringing that good energy, this should be a really fun thing that you should be doing. Your conversations should be enjoyable. The people that you're matching with should be people that you really care about matching with. I would much rather you chose 5 matches instead of 20, but it'd be people that you would actually date in real life, people that you would be really excited about having a conversation with, people that you'd be excited about giving your number to. Those are the kinds of matches that you want. This is the kind of energy you want to bring to the table. And once you're not having fun with it, it's time to take a break. You don't have to be dating online all the time. You need to get over that, fear of missing out mindset. The apps will always be there. The people that you're meant to meet and be with will be there when you return. But really trust your gut. Trust your gut. And when you're just not feeling it, just don't do it. There are so many other great things that you can devote your time and energy to that will serve you. And then when you're ready and you're feeling up for it, go back to the dating apps. 100%. They're not going anywhere. I can promise you that. So just again, remember, online dating does work. It is a landscape for you to run within, to play around and to have some fun with. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I really hope that now that things are fresh in your head, if you're not, busy right after, that you take a few minutes to kind of just reflect, even if it's 5 minutes. Don't get off this live and just like jump on your phone, jump onto a dating app, jump onto Instagram or whatever. Even if it's 2 minutes, just be like, okay, what about this live resonated with me? What can I really apply to my dating life today? And I would really love for you to take a little bit of time to think about those initial tips about setting yourself up to win. You could just go back and watch those few minutes again, and think about, what day are we? Saturday. So think about, for next week, what days and times are you going to invest into dating? Think about the spending the time on the profiles and spending time messaging, and write it down and just see if this helps, see if this approach works. And then again, just like anything else, try it, tweak it, and make it work for you. And that is it for today. We're actually at the 35-minute mark, so anyone that had to leave, you are free to go. Obviously, this video will still be available for you guys to watch after. And now I'll just spend a few extra minutes here, to just read through the questions. So, hi Suzanne. Yeah, so you know what, you guys, we are doing virtual speed dating events now on Zoom. They've been going really well. Today is actually going to be our third round. We have gotten interest from the different life stages that we cater to. Right now, we are focusing on our Ready for Love life stage, which is our like 30 to 42 crowd. We are still testing things out, so patience, please. And as soon as we've really figured out exactly how this should go and really figured out our own process with this, we are going to open our events up to more of our life stages, including our 40 and 50 plus crowd, and including our younger crowd as well for 20 somethings. But yeah, just so you guys know, we are doing lots of digital speed dating events now. They've been going super, super well. We're doing them across Canada. So just so you know, today, Saturday, April 11th, we have 5 digital speed dating events: Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Calgary. Some are sold out, but we do have a few tickets left. Okay, if you're tired, then it is lucky you're currently online dating because what you just said. Okay, Paul, just bear with me, guys. I'm just going to read quickly through. Yeah, so Francine says, my profile reflects my positive and outgoing energy when all I attract are couch potatoes. Guys don't read profiles these days. I agree with you, and I had a tip on this, but I thought it was just going to run a little bit too long. You know what, guys? You need to have your own process and protocol for online dating. And hopefully what you're putting out is going to be more of what you attract. That is the rule of the universe, as far as I know. So, the thing I would ask you, Francine, is how much are you paying attention to profiles versus photos? I know photos speak so, so loudly, and that's really all that it's about, but it's really up to us to read through these profiles in a real way. And Francine, if you are getting men who are not reading your profiles, just set that as a boundary for yourself. And that's what I was talking about, like trusting your gut and your intuition. If you're not getting if you know off the bat that this person hasn't read your profile, you don't have to engage with that person. Just wait, set those boundaries, and really give your attention to the people that you know have read something about your profile. And that's why I'm sharing that tip about how important it is to say something personal about somebody's profile. On the flip side, you don't need to respond to messages that you know are generic and that you know are not best suited for you, that you know have not taken the time to actually get to know anything about you. Some people are just lazy or in a rush, says Nicole. I completely agree with you. That's why, again, I think it is super important for us to, the more people that get on board and make this shift about dating with more intention and really setting the time to date and giving the time that you spend dating the respect it deserves, hopefully we'll start to see less of that. But again, you can only control what you do, and that is really what I would focus on. I would focus much less on what you're seeing and really focus on your own approach and mindset. Elisa, I actually don't know too much about the Facebook dating app, so I'm not going to be able to share anything there. I'm sorry. Kavita, do they have to be in that specific order? Danny, I'm so sorry because now I'm not sure which tips I shared, but generally speaking, maybe you're referring to the messages. It does not have to be in that specific order. I do suggest that being curious is kind of the foundation. I do suggest that always, incorporating something personal is key. So there's no exact order to it, but you don't have to pay a compliment to say something personal. So again, those are like the criteria that I would use and think about when you are sending somebody a message. But you don't have to jam all of that into one message. That can become overcomplicated, wordy. It could sound like you're trying too hard. Really keep it simple, guys. Short, sweet, simple, genuine, personalized, kind. These are the things, respectful. These are the things that you want to be thinking about. These are the words that should be coming to mind when you are dating online. Um, Thank you, Helena. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that you are always coming to watch these lives. Women are more, Danny says, women are more afraid of sharing personal information before meeting someone. That is 100% true. So that's why you really have to read the situation well. You really cannot be aggressive. You really need to have a soft, warm approach. You really need to act, what is it? Act when the iron's hot. And you really need to, and that's why you need to be mindful about it, because when you are dating, and you've set, 2 hours to really just invest in conversations, you're going to start to pick up on, okay, now the conversation's going well. Now is when I'm going to ask her if she wants to move the conversation off the app. You need to make sure she feels comfortable, and you need to find that window that's not too soon and not too late about moving the conversation off the app. The more you do this, and that's why I'm saying, like, to really use this as a tool, because there are just so many people out there that you could experiment with, to really use this as a tool, because the more you do it, the more you're going to really get in tune as to seeing when that window of opportunity is. Yeah, that's exactly right. So Pierre, I really appreciate your comment back to Danny. You need to have built that rapport and get the woman feeling comfortable. And ladies, for the ladies that are still here, I mean, come on, give these guys a break. They are tippy-toeing, a lot of them. The ones that you do want to meet, the ones that you complain that you don't see enough of, give those guys a break. Give them a signal that you are interested. Make the first move, because it's not that they're not interested. A lot of the time they're just kind of scared to ask because of this environment that we've created around dating today. And not for the wrong reasons, but just when you're interested in somebody, give them that signal to go ahead, or be willing to make the first move a little bit more. Pierre says, what Kavita is saying is true. You don't need to respond if the response is generic. I've myself messaged simply saying hello. I don't respond to them since they don't take the time to say anything meaningful. 100%. Set up, those are boundaries and parameters that you could set up for yourself, which will make dating more enjoyable for you. So you could just say to yourself, I am not responding to things that don't work for me. You can make that decision, and you have to, again, get rid of that FOMO mindset, fear of missing out mindset. So you can make the choice to now only reply to messages that say something personal about your profile. Anything else, just pretend it's not there. I had an online date. The conversation was okay, but in the middle of it, he asked me to stand up. Is this disrespect? Honestly, I was offended. What are the rules? I think that is rude. I'm a big believer in being very respectful, being kind, treating people just with basic human decency. So that is, Larissa, for you to decide. At a certain point, there are no rules. It's about how something makes you feel. And then if it's kind of irrational, and then it's about doing the work and asking yourself why it makes you feel that way. And if you need to do a little bit of work to come around and lower your guard or your boundaries a little bit. But I would agree that that's very rude to say, stand up. Well, Pierre says stand up. I don't get why it would be disrespectful or why you'd be offended. I mean, the guy. First of all, it's an odd thing to say. You know, even with online dating, you need to still treat it like you need to still treat people like a human being. If you walk into a restaurant and the girl that you're dating is already sitting down, you're not going to be like, stand up. I want to see, what your body type is. That's pretty much what the guy is asking. He can only see her face, and he wanted to see what her body type was. It's the equivalent of a woman saying, stand up, because she wants to see how tall you are. A lot of men take offense to that. These are physical traits that I get are important, but there is absolutely a way to go about these kinds of things and figuring this kind of stuff out. You're not just gonna be on an online date and be like, stand up. Doesn't work like that. Um, okay. All right. I'm going to wrap up, guys. It's been about 45 minutes. We've done 10 minutes of Q&A. Um, I just want to take a minute and thank you guys so much for showing up to these lives. It's something that I've been wanting to do for years, actually, and just didn't do it, and for a multitude of reasons. And so happy to be doing it now, and I just really, really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen and to spend with me and to engage and interact, not only with me, but with each other. I really hope these tips are useful. I really want to share with you the things that you are struggling with and the things that you want to know more about. And what I have access to are resources that not everybody has access to. So if there are things that you want to know, I'm happy to dive in and do the research and, ask other people how they feel about this or why this is happening on the dating scene. So don't be shy to reach out, anytime. Our email is hey@dashingdate.com, hey@dashingdate.com. Again, thank you guys. We'll be back next Saturday. Again, we're open to suggestions for next week's topics. Nothing is scheduled just yet in terms of what I'll be talking about, but I will be back next Saturday, the 18th, I believe it is, at 10:30 a.m. Enjoy your Saturday, guys. Have a lovely weekend and lots of love, and talk soon.